The house burned on a night when families were supposed to be safe, when children were supposed to sleep without fear, when the world paused, just for a moment, to believe in something gentle. But that night, in a small town in West Virginia, 5 children went to bed and never woke up. Or did they? Christmas Eve, 1945. The war had just ended. Soldiers were returning home. Families were rebuilding. The world was trying to remember what peace felt like. In Fayetteville, a small town tucked into the Appalachian Hills, life was quiet, predictable, safe. The Sauter family lived on the edge of town. George Sauter and his wife Jenny had 10 children. The kind of large, chaotic household where noise meant life, where silence was rare, where the absence of a voice was immediately noticed. George had come to America from Italy decades earlier. He worked hard, built a trucking business, provided for his family. He was proud, stubborn, outspoken. He believed in America, but he also remembered where he came from, and he was not afraid to speak his mind. That night, 9 of the children were home. The oldest had already moved out, married, started their own lives, but the others were there, laughing, opening small gifts, eating too much, the usual chaos of Christmas Eve. The tree was decorated. The house smelled of food and wood smoke. Everything was warm. Everything was normal. George went to bed around midnight. Jenny stayed up a little longer, cleaning, making sure the younger ones were settled. She checked on the children sleeping upstairs. Maurice, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 9, Jenny, 8, Betty, 5. They were asleep, quiet, safe. She went to bed. By morning, the house was gone. Sometime around 1 in the morning, Jenny woke to the smell of smoke. She opened her eyes. The room was hazy. She heard crackling. Not loud, not yet, but present, growing. She shook George awake. They ran to the children's rooms. 4 of the younger ones were sleeping in the downstairs bedroom. Jenny grabbed them, pulled them outside. George tried to reach the stairs. Flames blocked the way. The second floor, where 5 of the children slept, was already engulfed. He ran outside. The cold hit him. The air was sharp. He could see his breath. He could see the flames through the upstairs windows. He shouted their names: Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, Betty. No answer. Just the roar of fire. George ran to the side of the house. He kept a ladder there, always, leaning against the wall. He used it for repairs, for cleaning gutters, for reaching the roof. It was always there, but that night, it was gone. Moved. He did not remember moving it. He looked around, searched the yard. It was nowhere. Someone had taken it, or moved it. But who, and why? He ran to his truck, thinking he could drive it close, climb onto the hood, reach the windows. He turned the key. Nothing. The engine did not turn over, did not even try. It had worked fine the day before. He had driven it into town. No problems. But now, it was dead. Completely dead. Jenny screamed for neighbors. Someone ran to call the fire department. The nearest phone was down the road. The operator took the call, but the response was slow. Strangely slow. The fire chief lived just a few miles away, but he did not arrive for hours. Later, he would say he was not notified in time. But others heard the call. Others knew. The delay was never explained. Neighbors gathered. They stood in the yard. They watched the house burn. They did not speak. There was nothing to say. The flames climbed higher. The roof collapsed. The walls fell inward. The heat pushed everyone back, and the 5 children upstairs were silent. By the time firefighters arrived, the house had collapsed entirely. The flames had consumed the structure, the wood frame, the furniture, the Christmas tree, the gifts, everything. The fire burned for hours, and when it finally died, only ash and rubble remained. The fire chief examined the ruins. He walked through the debris. He poked at the ash with a stick. He said the heat had been so intense that the bones were incinerated, reduced to nothing, blown away by the wind. It was possible, he said. Rare, but possible. The family was told to accept it, to mourn, to move on, to bury the idea of their children, if not their bodies. But George did not believe him. Neither did Jenny. Because they had stood outside that house as it burned. They had watched the flames. They had felt the heat. And they had not seen what fire does to a body. They had not smelled it. And they knew. Bones do not disappear. Not like that. Not completely. Fires do not erase bones. Not in a house fire. Not in a wooden structure that burned for a few hours. Human bones require sustained temperatures above 1400 degrees Celsius to fully incinerate. Crematoriums, with controlled environments and prolonged exposure, reach those temperatures. House fires do not. Even in the most intense residential blazes, fragments remain. Teeth, pieces of skull, sections of long bones, vertebrae. Something always survives. Always. But in the ashes of the Sauter house, nothing was found. No bones, no teeth, no remnants of 5 children. The fire chief insisted the heat had been sufficient, but he offered no evidence, no measurements, no expert analysis, no investigation, just assurance, just certainty without proof. The family was expected to accept it, to stop asking questions, to let it go, but they could not. George hired a private investigator, a man who did not work for the state, who did not answer to officials. The investigator sifted through the debris himself. Slowly, carefully, he found household items, metal objects warped by heat but still recognizable. Appliances, nails, pieces of the stove, but no human remains. He found the bones of small animals, chickens that had been in the yard. Their bones were intact, charred but present, identifiable. If chicken bones survived, how could the bones of 5 children not? The investigator had no answer, only questions. He wrote a report. He said the absence of remains was highly unusual, inconsistent with known fire behavior. He suggested further investigation, but the state declined. The case was closed. The conclusion was final. The children had died. Their bodies were gone. End of story. But it was not the end. Witnesses began coming forward. Slowly, hesitantly. A woman who lived nearby said she saw a man watching the house earlier that evening. Standing across the street, staring, not moving, just watching. She thought it was strange but said nothing at the time. Christmas Eve, people were out, walking, visiting. But this man was different. He was focused, intent. And when the fire started, he was gone. A driver passing through town claimed he saw balls of fire being thrown onto the roof. Not falling. Thrown. He was certain. He slowed down. He watched. He saw figures near the house. Then he kept driving. He did not stop. He did not report it. Not until later. Not until it was too late. Another man said he saw the children in a car driving away from the house that night, heading east, toward the next town. He was certain. He recognized their faces. He had seen them before. In town, at school, he knew them. And they were alive. In the back of a car, staring out the window. Silent. George followed every lead. He interviewed neighbors. He tracked down the witnesses. He drove to the places they described. He asked questions. He offered money. He hired more investigators. He put up billboards with the children's faces. Large, visible, unmissable. The billboards stayed up for decades. A constant reminder, a refusal to forget. Jenny believed the children were alive. Taken, hidden. But she did not know why. She kept the younger children close. She did not let them out of her sight. She watched the road. She studied the faces of strangers. She waited for a sign, for proof, for anything. She planted flowers where the house had stood. She tended them every day. She said the children were still out there. She said they would come home. Months passed, then years. The family received strange phone calls. A woman's voice, asking if they had given up yet. A man laughing, then hanging up. Anonymous letters with cryptic messages. Photographs that might have been their children, older, different, but maybe still them. Each lead went nowhere. Each hope dissolved. But George did not stop. He could not. He re-examined the fire. He questioned the sequence of events. Why had the ladder been moved? Who moved it? He asked neighbors. No one knew. No one saw. Why did the truck not start when it had been running perfectly the day before? He had a mechanic examine it later. The mechanic found the electrical system had been tampered with, deliberately disabled. Someone had cut wires. Someone had sabotaged it. Why did the fire department take so long? The fire chief lived nearby. Others lived closer. The response time made no sense. George demanded answers. He was told it was a miscommunication, a delay in dispatch, an unfortunate error, but it felt deliberate, calculated, as if someone wanted the house to burn completely, as if someone wanted to make sure nothing could be saved. And then there were the threats. George had been outspoken before the fire. He was an Italian immigrant who had done well in America. He owned a trucking business. He employed people. He was respected. But he also criticized Mussolini publicly. During the war, when others in the Italian community supported the fascist regime, George argued against it. He said Mussolini was a dictator, a criminal. He refused to send money back to Italy to support the cause. He made enemies, men who did not forget insults, men who believed in old grudges, men who believed in revenge. One man in particular had confronted George months before the fire, an insurance salesman. He came to the house. He tried to sell George a policy. George declined. The man grew angry. He said George's house would go up in smoke. He said the children would be destroyed. George dismissed it. It was talk, anger, nothing more. But after the fire he remembered, and he wondered. The official conclusion never changed. Accidental fire, faulty wiring perhaps, or a stove left on, or a discarded cigarette. The children died in the blaze. Their remains were consumed. Case closed. The state would not reopen it, would not reconsider. The evidence, or lack of it, did not matter. The witnesses did not matter. The tampering did not matter. The conclusion stood, but the Sodders never accepted it. They rebuilt on the same land. A smaller house, quieter, but still there, still watching. Jenny kept the photographs displayed. She told the story to anyone who would listen. She refused to let the children be forgotten. She refused to let the questions die. In 1968, more than 20 years after the fire, the family received a photograph in the mail. No return address, no letter, no explanation, just a photograph of a young man. Dark hair, strong features, handsome. On the back, someone had written a single name, Louis. Louis was 9 when he disappeared. This man looked to be in his 30s, the right age, the right build. Jenny stared at the photograph for hours, days. George studied every detail, the shape of the face, the set of the eyes, the line of the jaw. It could have been him. It could have been their son. They hired another investigator to trace the photograph. He followed the postmark to Kentucky. He searched. He asked questions. He found nothing. No leads, no names, no addresses. The trail went cold, but the photograph remained, a possibility, a torment, a refusal to let go. George died in 1969. He never found his children, never learned what happened that night, never got answers. His last words were about them, about the fire, about the questions that never left him. He died believing they were alive, believing they had been taken, believing someone knew the truth. Jenny lived longer. She kept the billboard standing. She kept the photographs displayed in the house. She kept searching. She kept hoping. She died in 1989, still believing her children were alive, still waiting for them to come home, still refusing to accept that they were gone. The remaining Sodder children, the ones who survived the fire, carried the weight their entire lives. They searched. They investigated. They questioned. Some believed the 5 were taken. Some believed they died. But none of them ever found peace. None of them ever stopped wondering. There are theories, many theories. Some say it was arson, a targeted attack by someone George had angered, someone who wanted revenge, who wanted to destroy him completely, to take what he loved most. Others say it was a kidnapping, that the fire was a cover, that the children were taken and sold, as some children were in those days, to families who wanted them, to people who paid for silence. Still others say it was an accident, a tragic, terrible accident, and the lack of remains is simply an anomaly. an unfortunate gap in evidence that means nothing. But none of the theories explain everything. None of them account for the moved ladder, the sabotaged truck, the delayed fire department, the witness who saw the children in a car, the threatening visitor months before, the photograph decades later, the bones that should have been there but were not. The fire burned hot, but not hot enough to erase 5 children completely, not hot enough to leave nothing behind. The investigators, the ones who were not bound by official conclusions, all agreed. Something was missing. Something was wrong. The story did not add up. The evidence did not align. And the family knew it. The house is gone now. The billboard was taken down years ago. The land is quiet. The flowers Jenny planted have long since died. The remaining family members have aged. Some have passed. The story is fading. But the question remains, what happened to those 5 children on Christmas night? Did they die in the fire? Were they taken? Are they still out there, old now, perhaps unaware of who they were? Or did they remember? Did they ever try to come back? Families are supposed to be safe at Christmas. Children are supposed to wake up to presents and laughter and warmth. But the Sodder children did not, and their absence, their unresolved disappearance, haunts not just their family, but anyone who hears the story. Because it suggests that safety is an illusion, that the things we trust can fail, that the people meant to protect us can be slow or indifferent or complicit, and that sometimes children vanish and no one ever finds out why. The fire burned everything, except doubt. If you believe there's something others have missed, or if this story refuses to leave your mind, share your perspective in the comments below.